Golfers are always asking me, how do I clear my hips through impact? They want like an instant fix to how they can get more clear. Now there's many reasons why you might not be clearing your hips. Quite often it's to do with how we move the club prior to that area. So if the club's in the wrong plane, club face is in the wrong position, you won't want to clear your hips, because if you do that, you'll end up playing worse golf. But I'm going to show you today a nice little drill sequence and some concepts that are going to hopefully open the doors for you to hopefully clear your hips in a better way for the future. So clearing the hips, what do we mean by that? Well, basically rotating. Rotating in the sense that also we're not extending so that we can move through the golf ball correctly. So I've got one fantastic drill that helps us do these things correctly. But I also want to make sure that when we try and clear our hips, we're doing it the right way. So for me, as we start down, there should be some lateral movement. Now the best players in the world would move about 5 or 6 inches laterally from the top of the backswing to their impact position. So that's quite a lot of movement laterally. Now if we just try and clear from the top, what tends to happen is the club will tend to come out and across and wipe across the golf ball. Now, as much as we want to be open at contact, and the best place will be probably 40 degrees open with the hips at contact, we don't want the shoulders to be way open, the torso to be way open, and that's to wipe across the golf ball. If we can do it in a sequence where the torso lags behind, and then we open secondary, and the body opens secondary, the torso secondary to the hips, that's the way to do it. Now, the shoulders at impact are round about square, so these will be around about parallel to your ball to target line. Your torso would be about 20 degrees open at contact, and the lower half, the hips, will be about 40 degrees open at contact. That's roughly where the best ball strikers get. Doesn't mean you should get there, and doesn't mean you will get there, but what we want to do obviously is if we can get the sequence right, that we start it with the lateral bump, then rotate, we've got a good chance of getting the club in the right slot also. If the club face is wide open on the way down, so the toes pointing kind of back behind me as it looks there rather than in line with me or down to the ground, then if you try and rotate, you're going to leave that club face very open and end up hitting high right weak shots. But you're going to look good at contact. You're going to look at your body and think, okay, yeah, great, that's where I want to be. It's not where you want to be to match up with your swing, but it certainly would be more rotated. This little drill I got here, I've got a club. I'm standing on it with my heel and it's behind my lead leg. So the idea with this would basically be, I would sort of, let me get a bit squarer here. I would basically get to the top of my backswing, give it the lateral move, then try and get my left calf to hit this shaft. And at the same time, my right heel then is staying down. So if I'm the kind of golfer that jumps up on my right side, like this, the club comes out and the club hits the ground. So we're trying to keep the club and we're trying to get our left calf to hit that rod, but also make sure that we get that lateral move too. I tend to call it the lateral squat, and then push up and turn. That's what we're looking for. Now, when you've got this club under your foot, you might well lose a touch of power because you can't push off your right side as much, but it's definitely going to be better than pushing up the wrong way or pushing up early. We want to feel that we can sequence this and get the feedback of our left calf hitting this shaft to making sure that left half calf goes in a much deeper position, as I would call it, to help us play better. Right, let's try this, shall we? At the start, you can start with lower power shots, but just try and feel like you give it a go. So top of the swing. So I managed to keep the club, managed to hit the calf. Strike was a little bit iffy, but it felt a little bit different in terms of sequence for me. It felt a little bit more forced in terms of the hips, and that's something you may feel also. But it definitely will give me the kind of look with my lower half dynamics that I'm looking for. That one felt great. So if you're looking to clear your hips, please do it the right way. Have a go at this exercise and post comments down below. Let me know how it feels, how it makes you look, how the ball striking improves or changes. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider following or subscribing and hit the bell notifications as well. That lets you know every time I release a new video. Thank you for tuning in today at the Forest of Arden. I hope to see you back here real soon.